Everything in this multiverse is based on free will. This is the basis of creation. When you agree to something, you form a karmic contract, sometimes called soul contract. And we have these contracts with people, with everyone, with our soul group. And these contracts last very often until they are cancelled. Now, these contracts, these agreements are very often used by negative entities, so they get some kind of benefit. You can enter karmic contracts through your desires sometimes, if you desire something. Through writing things down, if you make a wish, you write things down, you are opening options for whoever is hearing that to create a contract. Through rituals that manifest something. I daily say something like this: I cancel all contracts that do not serve my highest purpose. Everything is based on free will. Remember that. If something doesn't serve your highest purpose, why have any agreements for that? Hey, this is Mike Sigla from TrueTheory.com and welcome to another episode of True Spirituality. So, True Spirituality is my series where I talk about metaphysics, esoteric ideas and teachings, mysticism, shamanism, consciousness, spirituality, a little bit of everything. So if you like these types of topics, welcome. If you are new here, please subscribe and have a look at previous episodes as well, because this is episode 81, I believe. So we have quite a lot of content already. So today we're gonna talk about karmic contracts, also known as soul contracts. And at the end, I will give you a bunch of tools that you can use to cancel karmic contracts and how to cancel different types of karmic contracts. So this is a very important video. But before we're gonna start, I need to make a quick announcement. So again, if you don't know, my online course called Exit the Matrix is live now. You can check it out at truetheory.com/academy. And it's a personal development course with over 30 video modules, guided meditation practice, and this course helps people to transform their lives, figure out what is blocking them in life and things like that. And I'm offering it at half price at the moment. And this is a limited offer. So you can get it for as little as $60 at the moment. And I only made it available for the next 50 people. Already, I don't know how many, 8 people bought it or something, so still quite a lot of left, but it's gonna be gone at some point. So why not invest a little bit of money in yourself at a massive discount at the moment, instead of spending money on some crap for Black Friday, a lot of new stuff that you're gonna use a little bit and then might not be needed. So have a look at truetheory.com/academy and use the coupon code Black Friday together at the checkout. Choose one of 2 different options, because this course has 2 different options. One is with live coaching calls and you'll get 50% discount. And I think the meditation itself is probably worth 50-60 bucks. So you can get the whole online course now with 30 modules plus meditation plus some other bonus content for 60 bucks. So go to truetheory.com/academy and use the coupon code Black Friday together at the checkout. Okay, let's talk about the topic. So I said this is an important video, very important topic, and the tools will be somewhere at the end of the video. So watch entire video till the end. And you will also understand a very important law that governs our lives. And everything in your life is based on karmic contracts. Another thing I want to say here is that I'll give you some examples from my life when I got myself in trouble through different methods, different rituals and practices, and how I got myself in karmic contracts with negative beings. You also might want to watch my other videos the one about karma and free will, and 2 about 369 method, because all these topics are related. And I also give more examples of contracts there. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. Everything in this multiverse is based on free will. This is the basis of creation. This is how the source consciousness designed the whole reality. Free will is like gravity. You are subject to gravity. I'm subject to gravity. You cannot escape it here on Earth. And free will is also intertwined into everything everyone is doing. Why free will and how it works? If you think about it, it actually makes perfect sense to have a rule such as free will principle for every entity, for every being, for every soul. Let's say there is no free will and someone stronger than me, more powerful than me, whose service to solve, or maybe a group, decides to take advantage of me, let's say, as an example. You know, there will be total chaos. Strong beings, more powerful beings would take advantage of other souls, and perhaps they would not have any consequences to it. That's why if you have the free will aspect, you have protection to some extent. So nothing can happen to me by, for example, negative entity if I'm not agreeing to it or not allowing it somehow, or it's not some kind of karmic consequence of my own actions. And here we are entering the topic of karma, because free will and karma are intertwined. So for example, if some negative or service to self entity wants to take advantage of me, first of all, it would cause them karma, because everything you do reflects back to you, right? But if I'm not allowing it, I didn't agree on it, or I didn't do something where this is a result of my actions, then it's very difficult for this being to affect me, because I have this option of free will that, you know, I'm not allowing something and that's it. And obviously this is manipulated in a very clever ways. So these things are, let's say, bent slightly by negatives. And this is what we're going to talk about today as well. So what happens is that when you agree to something, you form a karmic contract, sometimes called soul contract. And we have these contracts with people, with everyone, with our soul group. And these contracts last very often until they are cancelled, or until you change something, or you decide to not continue, you decide to cancel it, things like that. Because technically you live forever, you have one life, really. You go in and out, you know, you incarnate, you get out of the body, you incarnate again. So it continues, right? And that's why the contracts very often continue throughout different incarnations. For example, you might have said to your loved one, I will always love you. And you are in the next incarnation and you forget about it, you don't even know this person anymore. But the rule, the agreement is still there. You said that, right? So it creates some kind of contract. That's why these things are very dangerous, because we often have things that today you don't even remember any of this stuff. It's not valid for you anymore. So you want to get rid of these things. And sometimes we have them and they block us from doing other things, or they can make our lives harder. Now, these contracts, these agreements are very often used by negative entities, so they get some kind of benefit, and we will talk about it in a second. So for example, if a person is very selfish, let's say, this type of energy, selfishness, right, this type of emotion, let's say, or a trait, is very much in the level of vibration of negative beings. So they might want to help that person to get what this person wants, but they will benefit from it as well. And typically it always works in a way where this person gonna end up 10 times worse than them. So I think the best way for people to understand it is when I'm gonna start giving you examples of karmic contracts. So you can enter karmic contracts through your desires sometimes, if you desire something. Through writing things down, if you make a wish, you know, you write things down, you are opening options for whoever is hearing that to create a contract. Through rituals that manifest something, you know, any kind of ritual that helps you to manifest something almost always is linked to a karmic contract, and typically with negative beings. So let's start with examples. A couple of months ago, I was at the festival in Poland where I was giving a talk about shamanism and psychedelics, and you know, I met quite a lot of cool people there. I met this one guy, and we started talking about ayahuasca, and he shared with me that he took part in some kind of shady ayahuasca ceremony. And I always say you gotta be careful with who you do these ceremonies with, because a lot of shamans are hijacked. They work for the dark side. So they're gonna form contracts, for example, on your behalf, or help you to get in contracts or something like that. And this is what happened with this guy. So what happened with him was that he said he took part in an ayahuasca ceremony where the shaman was like drinking vodka or something. It was like really crazy. Like when he was drunk, he was playing some Icaros, and it was kind of, the vibe was very strange. But he had an intention during that ceremony that he wanted to quit his corporate job and start living through his passion through music. Music was his main thing, right? But you know, it was a hobby at that time, and he was working in some kind of typical matrix slavery type of job, which he didn't like. And what happened, and he didn't connect these things until we talked about it, because he started sharing more and more and more, and then it clicked what happened. So he told me that a couple of months after the ceremony with this drunk shaman, very shady, very kind of dodgy, he had a serious car accident. And he said it was very bad. He ended up in a hospital. He had to take whatever, a couple of weeks or a couple of months off from his work. But then he had a lot of free time to work on the music, right? Because he was in bed or something like that. He was not able to work, but he was able to play some music. And we started connecting these things. What happened? So he got what he wanted from the ayahuasca session, right? He wanted to focus on the music, right? And stop working this shitty job. But it came not in the way he expected, as an accident, as something very negative, right? Because the shaman was hijacked and worked for negative beings, so they manipulated the free will, the contract here, to deliver him what he wanted, but in such a form where the beings feed from suffering very often. You know, these negatives, they like to see suffering and all this stuff, and you know, he got what he wanted, right? So this is an example. I hope this makes sense. And he, when we started talking about it and I explained to him a little bit about it, he started making, like, connecting the dots, what's happened here. Okay, let me give you another example, this time example of myself. So 2019, I was living in Spain, in Valencia, and I don't know, I decided to pray to Jesus. I remember something like 2008 or 9, I had this weird situation where I was at the festival, like this conscious festival, and there was a group of people there, and they said they prayed to Jesus, and they asked me if I want something from Jesus, and I said like, yeah, whatever, pray, you know. So I told them, yeah, let's try it. So basically during that festival they asked me what I want, and I said I want to know the truth. This was like 2008 or 9. So they started praying to Jesus for me. They started like holding me, touching me, and praying for me to learn the truth. And then next hour I was meditating, some group, some workshop, and I felt this love present around me. So I thought, maybe this is somehow related to, it was very strong, it wasn't anything usual. So I thought maybe what they've done was related. So I kind of had this idea that, you know, Jesus is a real deal, and it's something that, you know, someone who you can pray to. So in 2019, I decided to pray to Jesus for something. I think I prayed before, but this time I asked for help with business, right? So something kind of materialistic. Other times was different thing. This was the first time when I asked for something like that, right? With Jesus, let's say. And, you know, I get my downloads, visions, sometimes things like that. So I was meditating when I was doing that. And I had a download, like a vision, when I asked, you know, Jesus to help me with business, whatever. I saw a contract, like a piece of paper with my signature, like, you know, like I made a signature. This is the vision I received. And I was like, that's very strange. Why would Jesus give me a contract? You know, didn't make sense. So over the next, whatever it was, 2-3 weeks, things started moving in my business. You know, I made a partnership with someone who I really wanted to do this partnership for a long time in the past. And at the same time, I started getting dreams, because I get a lot of guidance in dreams about what's going on. So I started getting these dreams that are like these demons that try to put me on a barbecue and things like that, like symbolic dreams that I got myself in some trouble, basically. And I was like, oh shit, you know, and I know because I've done similar things in the past, I knew this definitely wasn't Jesus. Because Jesus wouldn't give you a contract. So I knew something's wrong. And what happened was I had this dream again. You know, these things are very symbolic, but basically what happened was like there was this like a castle something, or these like street theater or whatever. And I see these guys, these actors in a street theater, they kind of suck the energy from people. And none of these people knows that apart from me. I'm the only one who sees that. So this is my dream. And these guys, you know, they're like harvesting energy. They saw me that I see what they are doing, and they start chasing me. So in the dream, I'm starting to run away from them. And suddenly this massive angel flies next to me, which is like, you know, 8 meters long wings, like this white kind of a little bit clear, a little bit white angel with massive wings flies next to me, grabs my hand and saves me. So basically this was my dream. Like there were some kind of fishy guys harvesting energy from people. I could understand what they were doing, and this big angel came and saved me, and we flew away, right? So this is the dream I had. One thing I forgot to add, throughout this period when, you know, I said I did this prayer, I started having this heavy energy on my back, like on the right side. You know, I'm sensitive to energy, so I can feel when something is attached. So that was very strange, and I know I had something like that in the past, so I knew 100%, you know, there is something fishy going on here. I got myself in some contracts with some negative beings. They attached something to my back, and I'm getting dreams as warnings. So after this dream with this angel that saved me, next day I'm starting to look for how to break karmic contracts on YouTube, and I found meditation from Wolfgang, who is someone, you know, I know now, and turned out that we know each other from previous lifetimes as well. And I don't remember the details, but basically the meditation was something about actually calling Archangel Michael to remove that contract, right? So the meditation was just like normal meditation. I was feeling better afterwards. And after that, I've done the guided meditation, I had a vision. Later on during that day when I was meditating again, I had a vision where I saw my back, and in that place where I had this heavy energy, there was a massive scar, like halfway through my back, right? So this is, and the energy disappeared. So after the meditation, this heavy energy disappeared, everything stopped, like I stopped having the things going up in business, all these things, they stopped, and I was free basically from the contract. But what happened was that this thing on my back was removed, and I had a download showing me that there is a scar there, basically. So let's decode what happened here. Because maybe, I don't know, if you don't know much about these things, this sounds kind of all over the place, maybe it doesn't make sense. But the more examples you're gonna see, the more these things will make sense. So what's happening here? I prayed to Jesus for something selfish, let's say. Turned out that it wasn't a Jesus. So who that could have been, and why not Jesus? I don't know. Maybe these are my theories about it. Maybe some other being hijacked the prayer and, you know, created a contract through my free will. And because this contract wasn't valid, because I wanted Jesus and someone else hijacked the prayer, what happened, this wasn't valid. So the implant, because it was an implant on my back, could have been removed and the contract could have been cancelled by, you know who, Archangel Michael, let's say. This is one option. Second option is that maybe Jesus is complete fabrication, and like a lot of people, especially in Catholic faith and, you know, a lot of things in the Bible. And that's why when people pray to Jesus, they don't really pray to Jesus. That could be another option. Maybe if you pray to, I don't know, Joshua or something like that, then you pray to a real Jesus. But when you pray to Jesus, because that apparently wasn't his real name even, these things get hijacked by someone else. Because there is a lot of trickery in religion and things like that, you know. I don't know exactly, but this was one of many of these types of experiences I had, which taught me about this stuff. So let me give you another example. This was like 2017, I think. So I was experimenting a lot with these like manifestation practices, law of attraction, rituals, blah, blah, blah. And I don't even remember which one, but at some point, and like I said, you know, since like whatever 2008 or 2009, I've had thousands of dreams where I was guided always and shown things and stuff like that. This is my spirit guides. They shown me that, they told me that as well. So I remember I had this dream which wasn't symbolic, was literal. And I saw a statistics on my website, which at that time, you know, this was like thing I was checking daily, like 100 times a day, looking at these statistics all the time. So normally these statistics would show something like few hundred people on the website in a given moment at that time. And that was normal, let's say, like 200 people, 300 people in a given moment on the website, right? And in the dream, I saw these statistics very clearly, and they reached 8,000 people or something like that. I think it was 8,000 people on the website in a given moment, which is crazy number. Never had this type of number before. And that means 8,000 people in a given moment. This is like millions of views, basically. So I had this dream where I was shown that, specifically the number and looking at statistics, which is something I look at daily for like, at that time, 100 times a day. So next day I woke up and they like normal, you know, a couple of people on the website, maybe 100, 200, 300 people, I don't know, like a few hundred people max. And the statistics started going up and up and up and up. And over the next few hours, they hit 8,000 people exactly. Like in the dream that I had the night before. Not any coincidence, wasn't a coincidence. It was exactly what I saw in my dream the night before, exactly. And it wasn't anything usual. It never happened over the last 7 years since I had a website. Never had more than like 1,000 people on the website in a given moment or whatever at that time. So that was like totally crazy. So what happened was I was kind of shown in the dream, I'm getting something here, right? Because this was all, at that time, I started making quite a lot of money from that because it was like crazy traffic, and at that time I was like making some money for advertising. So it really generated like some crazy traffic. It was some viral story, like one article just went viral. I don't know even how, where. So a couple of months after this happened, I went to Peru to do an ayahuasca ceremony. And in that ceremony, there were a lot of negative beings there. And I started getting these visions of me getting money from these beings. Like my watch appeared in front of my eyes, something that I bought like a couple of months before, and I started seeing like banknotes, and I said, I don't want anything from you during the ceremony, right? So I came back from the ceremony, came back to Europe, and over the next whatever it was, 6, 7, 8 months time. So this is what happened. May 2017, I had this dream where I saw these crazy statistics. The next day they really happened, which started generating quite a lot of money for me at that time. And a couple of months after that happened, in December, I went to Peru to do an ayahuasca ceremony where I had these like crazy visions with these like demons, whatever it was, like these negative beings, and they were like giving me money and materialistic things, and I said, I don't want anything from you. And I came back from that ceremony back to Europe, and I started having trouble after trouble after trouble after trouble after trouble over the next 9 months, where I basically lost all the money that I generated from that viral story, that viral situation, and I lost everything. I got myself in serious trouble, in debt, facing bankruptcy and all this kind of stuff. So this is what I got. So let's unpack what happened here. I got myself in a contract with some nasty beings. They even showed me in the dream, oh, this is what you're gonna get here tomorrow. Okay, next day it happened exactly. Like, you cannot explain with science, you cannot explain with anything, because this is pure precognition. You cannot say this is a coincidence. This is exactly what I saw, exactly the number, and never happened in my life. Like 7 years since I've been doing that before. Then during the ceremony, a couple of months after that, I was shown what's happening. This was important for me. You're in a contract which is very negative, so maybe like this is what was shown to me during the ceremony. So I decided to cancel the contract. And what happened, next couple of months, okay, we gave you the money, now let's take it back from you. So what was happening after that, when I had this period of, like I said, whatever, 7, 8 months where I was losing money, and no matter what I tried, I could try anything, nothing ever worked, nothing, because it's a contract. So you're subject to a rule here, and you cannot do anything about it. So I was like, I knew what's happened, because like I said, I had several of these experiences over the years. So I started connecting these dots more and more and more. Normally, like, I ask my guides, my higher self, what can I do about it? How can I get out of it? And when I was desperate, because it was very serious, like really negative on many levels, I had this dream where my mom appeared in my dream, and she said, you know what, you don't want them to take from you? Nominate someone else. And this, what? I'm thinking, like, my mom would say something like that? That doesn't make any sense. So of course it was a hijacked dream where they show you your mom because it's someone you're gonna trust, and you can change the contract to someone else. Which obviously I have not done. So at some point I was shown by my guides that what I have to start doing is to start helping other people, because what happens is that you balance the contract, right? You balance the karma here. And I started doing that. So I started like helping, like I made a website for someone for free, started helping people around. And the moment I started doing these things, it all stopped. It all finished. Like all the things I was like losing money, facing bankruptcy, all these things stopped completely, and it started helping, it started working. So when I had this dream about helping others with some kind of couple of situations, I was shown like start feeding some people. In the dream it's symbolic, right? It's not like feeding some homeless. Then there was a couple and they wanted to argue, and I kind of separated them and helped them to talk and things like that. So I started getting a lot of dreams where I need to start helping others. And I knew, I know these rules and these things, so I knew what's going on. I knew that, okay, I got myself in trouble in a contract. To balance the contract, to balance the karma, now you have to get help yourself. Now, I could give you more examples, but I know a lot of people don't like the long videos. So if you're watching till now and it makes sense what I just described, let me know in the comments, and let me know if you want to see part 2 with more examples of these karmic contracts. I actually shared more of them in that 369 second video, I think in the first video maybe as well, because this is like a lot of rituals create these types of situations. Another thing, I remember during one of my sessions with plant medicines, when I was getting a lot of guidance on what is the control system, how these things work, I asked one time about famous influencers in spirituality and personal development. I was asking about some of these guys, and straight away I had shown that the dark side puts money in their pockets, right? So a lot of them are basically hijacked, you know, because very often when the person becomes really selfish and greedy, they become subject to contracts or some kind of influences of entities, right? So I've been always shown to keep myself in that level where not grow like crazy, not try to make big business or anything, just to keep myself to keep going and doing my work and things like that. Because once person becomes more selfish, more greedy, whatever, this person becomes easily hijacked. Okay, I said I'm gonna give you some tools so you can try to cancel contracts through, sometimes, you know, a lot of these things work. I do it daily because sometimes you get yourself in a contract in the dream as well. I made this video about dream hijacking. Actually, let me very quickly tell you what's happened. So I asked my higher self one time, what video should I make today? And I got this idea for a video about dream hijacking or hacking, because, you know, you can watch it. I talk about how we enter in contracts sometimes in dreams, because like I said about this thing with my mom, you know, that my mom appeared and she said, like, if you don't want them to take from you, nominate someone else. This is a hijacked dream, and the entity can appear as someone you trust and tries to get you in a different contract, for example, like in this case, or you know, try to get you in a contract altogether. So, you know, when I made this video about dream hacking and I asked my higher self what should I make the video about that day, 2 days after, my cousin, who actually works for me and he is editing these videos, he said he had this dream where he received like some food, like a bowl of food or a plate of food, and he was told that if he gonna eat the food, he will get some spiritual superpowers in the dream, right? So he ate the food and the food was bitter. The next day he woke up and he had like dark eyes and it felt like really bad. And we understand these things. So basically he had an entity possession because he agreed to some contract in the dream. It appeared as, oh, you're gonna get some superpowers, eat that food. But this is also like they use some kind of symbols and things like that to basically hide whatever the contract is. But he understands these things, so he woke up and he said, you know, I'm canceling all the contracts from the dream, and boom, it disappeared, right? Entity disappeared. So why, when I asked my higher self what video I should make about, it came that I should make a video about contracts in the dreams, because 2 days after this is what happened to my cousin, right? So obviously I was getting already guided that watch out, this is what's gonna happen. So I said I'm gonna give you some tools. I daily say something like this: I cancel all contracts that do not serve my highest purpose. Everything is based on free will. Remember that. If something doesn't serve your highest purpose, why have any agreements for that? Another thing you can try, you can do it daily. I cancel all contracts with the dark side. You don't want to have any contracts with the dark side. So you can try that. Obviously, things get complex. There are many different types of contracts. Some contracts have replication systems. You know, you cancel one, it opens another one. These things get very complex and esoteric. There are different types of curses, rituals, and things like that. but definitely saying these things should be safe. And if you want to go deep into clean a lot of these things, because a lot of church rituals are also negative contracts to block your third eye or to block you and things like that. So you can also say this: by the power of my free will, I cancel all pacts, contracts, pledges, bonds, oaths, and oaths given to myself, software, mental programs, implants, all agreements, verbal agreements, also those in writing and those signed in blood, originals of these agreements, copies, duplicates, copies of copies, reversed contracts and agreements, binding contracts agreed in trance. I cancel karma, ancestral karma, church rituals, curses, spells, rituals, remove vows, priesthood rituals, monastic rituals, everything mentioned, taken consciously or unconsciously, I cancel in all dimensions, densities, timelines, and incarnations now. So this is like a full scope formula. Obviously, I don't know, let's say you're married to someone and you want to keep it this way, so you can remove it from the affirmation. But like I said, these contracts often last throughout different incarnations. So maybe you don't have anything like that now, but you might have one from the previous incarnation that affects you now. So it's better to have as many of them removed. And from what I understand, they are often like layers of the onion. You know, you remove couple, you have a few more, and it goes like that in and out because you have a lot of incarnations very often. So you have a lot of these. So hope what I described here makes sense to you. If you want me to do part 2 of this video and share more examples of contracts, like when I got myself or some people around me, I might do it, maybe, I don't know, we'll see, but let me know in the comments. And if the video resonates, please share it, because that helps a lot. Give it a like. Follow me on Instagram, it's Mike Sigula on Instagram. And remember about Exit the Matrix online course. So truetheory.com/academy and use the coupon code Black Friday together and get yourself a really nice personal development course for very little money. So thanks for watching, until next time.